There is a particular stillness in a man when he realizes someone matters more than he planned. It doesn't arrive like thunder, it arrives like breath held too long. Like a thought he can't shake. Like the soft shock of finding warmth in a world he'd learned to navigate with armor on. At first, nothing obvious happens. No big declaration, no dramatic confession. Just small pauses, a different kind of attention, a shift beneath the surface. Subtle enough that even he struggles to name it. He listens the way someone listens to the last notes of a song they don't want to end. He watches her with quiet focus, trying to memorize details he never expected to care about. The way she speaks, the way she laughs, the way she falls silent when she thinks no one is watching. Something in him softens, and that softness frightens him, because for most of his life value has looked like effort, victories, achievements, proof of strength. But this new feeling isn't something he conquers. It's something he could lose, and that makes it precious. There is a moment where his heart recognizes her before his mind has caught up. A moment where warmth becomes vulnerability, and vulnerability becomes fear. Not the fear of love itself, but the fear of losing what love quietly builds. He notices himself, thinking before he speaks, caring about the tone of his words, wanting to protect the peace between them. Even when pride whispers otherwise, he checks his phone more than he admits, not because he needs attention, but because her presence has become a thread tying his day to something gentle, something safe, something hopeful. This shift does not roar, it hums. Some men hide it under casual words, some pretend they don't feel it, but the heart always knows long before the voice finds the courage to say. So in fear begins as a quiet question. What if she walks away before I understand what she truly means to me? He starts noticing her absence, the silence after a conversation ends, the empty space where her laughter should be, the moments when she seems distant, how they pull at him like threads loosening the seams of something fragile. He tries to act unaffected, tries to remain composed, indifferent. Even, but indifference never feels like this. This feels like a storm held behind still water. He may not call it fear, men rarely do. They call it not wanting to lose something good, or not wanting to mess things, or simply the feeling of not wanting to let go. But beneath every softened tone, every sudden patience, every unexpected tenderness, there is a truth taking shape. This connection matters. Somewhere between comfort and longing, connection and caution. He begins to understand that affection is not weakness. It is risk. And risk, when the heart is unprepared, feels like exposure. He doesn't run, he doesn't confess, he simply feels more deeply than he expected, more quietly than he will ever admit. And in that feeling, fear blooms like something delicate and fragile, not because love is dangerous, but because losing it might ache deeper than anything he has known. He hasn't chosen yet, hasn't spoken yet, but something within him has already shifted. Because when a man is truly afraid to lose someone, it is not a grand moment that reveals it. It is the softness he never showed before, and the silence where his heart whispers, "Please don't disappear." Before fear appears in the present, it is shaped by the past. Long before a man learns to hold someone gently, he learns what it means to hold himself together. Every tenderness he offers now was once tested somewhere behind him, in childhood bedrooms, in school hallways, in quiet disappointments no one saw. And in the silence he learned to survive in, because most boys are taught strength before safety, taught to stand before they know how to fall, taught to be brave before anyone asks if they are tired. Many grew up not with comforting arms, but with expectations, not with emotional language, but with emotional restraint. Not with "it's okay to feel," but with "real men don't break." So they break quietly, alone, and early. And in that loneliness, attachment becomes a rare and risky thing. To him, connection is not only desire, it is exposure. It is vulnerability. It is an invitation to lose. Somewhere in his past, he loved without caution. Maybe he was a boy who ran toward affection freely, believing closeness was simple, believing love stayed because love existed. Then, life showed him loss, a friend who drifted. First love who left. A moment when he reached and no one reached back. And in that moment, something changed. He learned that deep care carries quiet danger, that attachment can ache, that wanting someone can place the heart in someone else's hands. After that, he built walls instead of wings. Not because he didn't want to feel, but because feeling once cost too much. Sometimes the wound came not from romance, but from childhood, a distant parent, a home where emotional warmth was rare, love measured in responsibility. Not tenderness, praise quiet, disappointment loud, presence inconsistent. Even if intention was pure, a child does not need perfection, only safety. Only consistent arms, only someone who stays long enough to teach them that closeness does not crumble. But when safety was interrupted, when affection felt unpredictable, attachment grew cautious, quiet, careful. A man may age, but the child within him remembers. And that child still scans for danger even when love stands in front of him. Soft, steady, honest. It's not that he doesn't trust her. He doesn't trust moments like these. He has seen beauty before and watched it walk away. So when he meets someone he could lose, old fears return like echoes. Will this stay? Do I matter enough? Am I safe here? These questions are not weakness. They are history speaking. They are memory trying to protect him. His distance is not indifference, it is self-defense. Built slowly, shaped quietly, carried long enough to feel natural. But underneath that armor is a heart that still believes in warmth, a heart that still hopes love can stay without breaking him. He fears losing her not just because she matters, but because losing her would confirm the oldest lesson he never wanted to learn. Beautiful things don't stay for me, so he holds back. Not to hurt her, but to protect himself from a hurt he already knows too well. Yet it is precisely in this fear that a deeper truth rises. He would not fear losing her if he did not believe she sees him, not the mask he shows the world, but the human beneath it. And when a man realizes someone sees him fully and stays anyway, it awakens a longing older than his defenses, older than his pride, older than his wounds. A longing not for ownership, but for belonging, for a place where his guard can rest, where his past does not predict his future, where love doesn't feel like risk, but return. In that space, fear is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of depth, proof that what stands before him touches something unhealed behind him. And slowly, quietly he begins to understand. He is not afraid of her leaving. He is afraid of what losing her might reopen inside himself. Fear in love is not chaos, it is biology, it is memory, it is the nervous system trying to decode. Tenderness in a world that often taught survival, not softness. When a man fears losing someone, his body responds before his mind does. The heart beats differently. The breath changes. Even silence feels louder inside him. What looks like hesitation, distance or confusion on the surface, often the nervous system whispering, protect what matters. Psychology calls it attachment activation, a deep instinct shaped by early bonds. For some, closeness feels natural, comforting, safe. This is secure attachment, where love does not feel like threat, and connection is met with openness rather than fear. But for many men, especially those who gripped strength young, attachment formed in uncertainty, warmth that came and went, affection mixed with expectation, acceptance tied to performance, and so the attachment system learned to stay alert, prepared, guarded. This is anxious fear of loss woven with avoidant need for control. Two instincts that contradict each other, yet live inside the same heart, to pull close and to pull away, to want love and fear dependence, to crave connection, yet feel safest in solitude. Not because emotion is weak, but because vulnerability once felt unsafe. Biology joins the story here. The brain protects what the heart fears losing. Hormones shift. Dopamine rises with connection. Oxytocin forms attachment. Cortisol spikes when loss feels possible. It isn't only thought, it is chemistry, movement, instinct, and culture adds another layer. Men are conditioned to be stoic, to control feeling rather than understand it, to speak through action instead of emotion, to believe emotion threatens strength rather than deepens it. So when closeness awakens emotional intensity, the mind does not immediately say, "I care deeply." It says, "Be careful." He may withdraw to think, not because he feels less, but because he feels more than he knows how to hold. He may seem calm on the outside while inside his nervous system is calibrating between longing and fear. A man who fears loss is not dramatic about it. His fear is quiet, contained, private. He looks steady, but inside he is reading every tone, every pause, every shift in warmth, trying to understand, am I safe here? Emotional safety is not simple for him. To open his heart, he must override years of internal instructions. Don't need too much. Don't feel too deeply. Don't rely on anyone. Stand alone. But love, when real, challenges those rules, not by force, but by truth, because closeness does not weaken him. It softens the armor he never wanted to live inside forever. There is a moment where psychology becomes soul, where defense meets desire, where instinct meets awareness, where fear meets hope. In that intersection, he begins to realize something profound. The fear he feels does not signal danger. It signals value. Attachment theory calls this earned security.